Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ames's Corner. How you all doing out there? So I've made a lot of progress on the 96 here, and I think today is the first time we're going to drive it to the shop and put it up on the lift and see just how bad it is. I got my stunt driver Andy here, and he's going to drive the Sonett. I think he'll make number three. You'll be the third person other than me to drive it. I don't let people drive it very often, but I think I can trust him. He's got the Alaska Saab shirt on. So yeah, why don't we set up some cameras and we'll take a little drive to the shop. Hopefully neither one of these will break down on the way. I think the Sonnett's actually giving me a little electrical trouble, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It'll add for an adventure. How's it going?
Racing, huh?
Yeah. Racing some rare old Saabs.
So you're coming off the negative side of the coil?
That's the negative. This
Okay.
is the positive side.
to where?
To the power lead off the alternator. Because I
okay.
always have unfused power. I know I have plenty of power there. This way the ignition system has its power. Even if that, whatever's malfunctioning malfunctions, this will still
That's good to
still
know.
kick power
That's
to
good
the
to
coil.
know.
Yeah, as long as you put 12 volts there and a ground there, an
Yeah.
engine, you can get that engine to spin, it will always run. You can have an ignition switch that malfunction or a wire break.
Right.
As long as you put a jumper wire from there to there, it will always run.
That's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Little tricks of getting stuff out of the woods, you
Yeah.
know. Well, all right, guys, we finally made it to the shop. The Sonett just wanted to be a little brat. I guess it's just a little jealous of me spending all the time with the 96 here. So it wanted to let me know who was the boss and who was going to run straight. But the Sonnett's outside. I think I'm just going to leave it here and go over the wiring on it. But today, I'm going to finally get this thing up in the air and see just how bad it is underneath. Now, I know I had said in the past that this wasn't nearly as bad as the Sonett was, and the Sonett had no floors and no trunk. I think this is pretty close to as bad as the Sonett. It's just doing a better job hiding the problem. So, why don't we get this thing up in the air and see exactly what I'm getting myself into. Alright boys, it's a big moment for me, and you're seeing it the first time I see it. I have not been under this car properly yet. So first off, the front looks good. These pans are known to rot out up here. And that roll pan looks like we got a little bit going on over here, but no big deal. We got the control arm mounts are perfect on this car. Perfect control arm mounts, but then we get back here to the pedal box, and that is a little less perfect. That's the floor right there. So I got some work ahead of me up in this corner, and I know it's pretty punky up there, but yeah, that's where that is. What we got over here, this is that undercoating. I have to get all that undercoating down. A little more solid on this side. And then we got where we know it's bad. There is no rockers. You can see I had to have this piece of wood just to spread the load out so I don't put the lift arms through the body. That would be bad. But yeah, I'm gonna have to make a whole exterior rocker. You can see this is what it's supposed to be. We got the suspension mount up there. Looks like it's pretty good, which is really the good part about this car, is all these suspension mounts are still in good shape, but the end of the rockers on this side are pretty bad. So it's better than the Sonett in some aspects, and it's worse than the Sonett in some other aspects. This rocker's nice and tight. Nice and tight to back here. That's acceptable for now. And then we got the part that rotted out here. This was where the gas tank had rotted out right here. So it looks like I'm going to be making a trunk floor for this thing. Kind of knew that. Same on this side. Real common area, but it's tight where it needs to be. You know, these link mounts are in good shape, which I was kind of afraid of. This side over here is, you know, a little tough to see, but it's in decent shape. So what we've done thus far, and what I did all week, was we got the new caliper on it here. This was the caliper we bought from Don's Vintage Saabs. The brake hoses from Don's Vintage Saabs. I put all new brake hoses. This is another one of those calipers I got. I actually had to rebuild this one, but it's good to go now. This thing stops great. So yeah, not quite as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, a little worse in some spots. I'd say this little area right here is probably the worst of it, where the firewall meets the front engine cradle area. So we're gonna have to be rebuilding that. And then back here we got the brake line I made. I can actually make these lines that adapt into the factory brake hoses. You got the new brake hose here. I haven't changed this brake hose yet because I need to rebuild this area here, and there's no point extracting that brake line hose and putting the new one in just to take it apart to fix that. But that's next. That's next up on this car, is getting all this metal work done. Yeah, back here too. Yeah. So yeah, whole new trunk pan, whole new right side rocker. And then the inner rocker needs some work. So yeah, she's definitely needs some work. It's a little better than the Sonett, but not by much. But it does run and drive well. Well, awesome guys, awesome. I got some work ahead of me. So anyways, yeah, comments are much appreciated. If you guys have any questions or any tips or anything, are much appreciated too. Just leave them down in the comments section. And I think that's about it for today. Now we got to get this thing home and go on from there. So until next time, guys, keep it out of the cabbage.